Let's get into this story the way it needs to be told. Straight from the facts, no chaser. On August 29, 2021, in a gated apartment complex in Richmond, Texas, police from the Richmond Police Department responded to a welfare check call. What they found was the body of 33-year-old Janae Gagnier, also known to her 2.6 million Instagram followers as Miss Mercedes Morr, at the bottom of the staircase in her home. According to the Fort Bend County Medical Examiner, she died from strangulation and traumatic concussion. The scene showed signs of a struggle, with her clothes torn. Upstairs, the perpetrator, 34-year-old Kevin Alexander Accordo from Florida, was still breathing but had self-inflicted knife wounds to his neck and chest. He died shortly after, making this a murder-suicide case, as confirmed by police statements. On the walls, in lipstick and pen, Accordo had written messages like, "Janae led me to think she cared about me, but wore another man's ring," and "I was used for money," according to ABC7 reports on the crime scene details. That's the brutality right there. A young woman building her life on her own terms, cut short in her own home. No forced entry was reported, per Richmond Police Lieutenant Lowell Nines' statements, suggesting Accordo may have gained access through some fan interaction or stalking method. The apartment was in the Cortland Sugarland complex at 5200 Point West Circle, a place Janae chose for its security. But it wasn't enough that day. Family had requested the welfare check after no contact over the weekend, which was unusual for someone who posted daily. Her father, Mark Gagnier, and his girlfriend kicked in the door after seeing her BMW in the garage, finding her curled up, leg twisted, at the stairs. Blood was everywhere. Droplets in the kitchen, bathroom, even the freezer, indicating Accordo had been bleeding for hours or days from his wounds. According to NBC5 Dallas-Fort Worth coverage, the scene was haunting, with Accordo gurgling as he died when authorities arrived. Now, to understand how we got here, let's go back to who Janae was, because this isn't just about the end. It's about the life she lived, a woman navigating success in a world that often sees us as targets. Janae Lynn Gagnier was born on November 2, 1987 in Texas with roots in El Paso. From early on, Janae showed that entrepreneurial spirit that's so common in our community when we're trying to make it without a silver spoon. At just 12 years old, she and her father's girlfriend's daughters set up a hair braiding business in the garage, charging $60.00 per session. According to interviews in Rolling Stone, her father recalled how she always loved fashion and money, saying, "She always loved fashion, and she always loved money." That's the kind of hustle that gets passed down, seeing your parents work hard and figuring out your own way to stack paper. As a teenager, she was bright but a bit aimless, hanging out in Walmart parking lots with friends, moving between schools. She got into a few fights, often with other girls, which her sister London attributed to jealousy over Janae's looks. She was that pretty girl who turned heads without trying. Mark Gagnier noted in the same Rolling Stone piece that, a lot of the times, it really was because she was such a pretty girl. The name came from wanting luxury. Mercedes for the high-end vibe, Morr because she always wanted more, as her mother Janetta explained in interview. She started dancing professionally in strip clubs, earning $4,000.00 to $5,000.00 per weekend. Her parents weren't thrilled at first. Mark and Janetta disapproved, but when she started paying bills in stacks of ones from a duffel bag, they came around. Moving to Houston became her base for about 10 years, where she transitioned from dancing to full-time influencing. She was a video vixen, sponsored by Fashion Nova, and had over 2.6 million followers on Instagram by 2021, posting sultry photos in activewear and bikinis. She also had an OnlyFans for premium content, but it was her motivational speaking as a Black female entrepreneur that set her apart. She planned a leggings line and hair extensions brand, always thinking ahead. Her lifestyle was dual. Mercedes was the bubbly party starter, jumping on tables for karaoke or making funny TikToks about tacos. Janae's passion was real. She loved fashion, money, and family. She was the one who made her dad cook smothered chicken for her friends, took down her TV when she moved, and had spa days with her mom. The brutality hits harder when you know the life behind it. Janae was found curled at the stairs, leg twisted, in a home she thought was safe. Acorto's messages on the wall point to obsession, but police confirmed no relationship. No forced entry per police, meaning Acorto likely stalked his way in. The wall writings show delusion. I wish I'd never met her. According to Fort Bend's Star, the autopsy confirmed strangulation and concussion. Her body position, curled, half-clothed, tells of a struggle. Her background ties to systemic issues. Black women influencers face stalking without celebrity protection. As Trill said, top girls start at clubs, but the industry doesn't protect us the same. Jets highlighted, women aren't allowed to be beautiful without being preyed upon. That's the reality Janae lived. Now let's move to what happened after that welfare check. The moment when the police started piecing together who this man was and how he ended up in Janae's home. Remember, we're talking about a Black woman who had built her world carefully, but in the end, it wasn't enough to keep out the danger that stalked her from afar. According to the Richmond Police Department, there was no sign of forced entry at the apartment door, which means Acorto likely got in without breaking anything. That detail alone raises the question of how a stranger from Florida ends up inside a gated community home in Texas. We'll walk through this step by step based on what the reports and interviews show. First, the killer's identity came out quick. The man found upstairs, knife in his hand, was Kevin Alexander Acorto, 34 years old, from Wellington, Florida. Police confirmed his ID from documents in the apartment, per the initial report from Lieutenant Lowell Nynest in an ABC7 statement. Acorto wasn't some known criminal. His record was clean of any major offenses, just minor traffic stuff, according to background checks reported in Click 2 Houston. No history of violence or stalking charges that we know of from public records. So how does a guy like that go from Florida to Texas and end up in this situation? The investigation started with that. The police arrived at 10:17 a.m. on August 29, 2021, after Mark Gagnier kicked in the door. They found Janae at the bottom of the stairs and Acorto upstairs, still alive, but fading from self-inflicted wounds. By 10:35 a.m., both were declared dead at the scene, as noted in the Fort Bend County Medical Examiner's preliminary findings. The next 48 hours were all about securing the apartment. Search warrants for phones, laptops, and CCTV from the complex. According to KHOU coverage, the gated community had cameras, but no footage showed Acorto entering, which suggests he might have slipped in unnoticed or been let in. Let's break down the access part, because that's where the stalking comes in. Janae was careful. She lived in a gated spot for a reason. But years earlier in New Orleans, her address got doxed when a photo showed her apartment door number, leading to a move to Houston. According to Monica Jetz in Rolling Stone, influencers like her often get comfortable over time and slip up. For Acorto, investigators believe he was an obsessed fan, possibly from OnlyFans or Instagram. Police checked Janae's accounts and found no direct messages from him, but his phone had logs of viewing her profiles, per NBC reports. How did he get the exact address? Family thinks it could be from a gift shipment, like when a Las Vegas friend sent a beanbag chair to her home, exposing the location. Mark Gagnier told Rolling Stone he regretted not using P.O. boxes for everything. The wall writings gave the first clue to his mindset. Written in lipstick and pen, they were ramblings. I was used for money, underlined. I wish I'd never met her. Janae led me to think she cared about me but wore another man's ring. That last one referred to Janae's May 2021 Instagram video showing a diamond ring, which fans speculated was an engagement. According to ABC7, the writings were scattered across the apartment mixed with blood trails, indicating Acorto had been there for hours or even days after the attack. The medical examiner confirmed his wounds were self-inflicted, multiple sharp force trauma, but the timing shows he attacked Janae first, then lingered, writing as he bled. The investigation timeline kept going. By August 30, police had Acorto's background. Born in El Salvador but raised in Florida, no ties to Texas, they traced his travel. He drove from Florida to Texas per vehicle records reported in Sun Sentinel. No bank transactions or phone calls linked him to Janae, but his online activity showed obsession. Likes and views on her posts, silent for weeks before the murder. According to X keyword search results from 2021 threads, users speculated he was a subscriber, but police never confirmed that. The complex CCTV was checked, but no clear footage of him entering. Police also looked into Janae's last communications. She FaceTimed friends from the party, then nothing. Her phone was found in the apartment with texts to her father on August 17 about not wanting to be alone. According to Jetson interviews, Janae had mentioned creepy messages from fans, but she brushed them off as part of the game. The investigation found no specific threats from Oporto, but the pattern was there. Online obsession turning real world. Richmond PD's Ninist said in a 2021 press brief that it was not believed there was a relationship, ruling out anything personal. To go deeper, the forensics came next. Blood samples matched Oporto's wounds to the trails in the kitchen and bathroom. The autopsy for Janae showed strangulation as the primary cause, with the concussion from being beaten. For Oporto, it was suicide by knife. According to the Fort Bend Star, ballistics weren't needed since no gun was involved, but the scene photos, not public, showed the apartment was a mess of blood and writings. Police ruled out robbery or other motives, nothing stolen, no signs of sexual assault reported in the examiner's ruling. The access puzzle kept the investigation going. How did a fan from Florida find her exact apartment? Investigators traced doxing incidents, Janae's door number visible in old posts, leading to fan interactions. Police interviewed family and friends. Mark said Janae was paranoid about illnesses, but not trolls. Jet said they went shooting for self-defense, but Janae hated guns. The boyfriend from Alabama was cleared. He was out of state. According to NBC5, the investigation focused on digital footprints, with Oporto's phone showing searches for Janae's profiles dating back months. The arrestment part is tricky since it's a suicide, but police treated it as closing the case. By September 2021, they issued statements confirming murder-suicide with no further suspects, wrapped with a final report in September 2021, but family felt it was too fast. Mark told Rolling Stone he wanted more answers on access, but the legal system said the evidence was sufficient for closure. The legal process highlighted systemic issues for Black women influencers. No stalking laws enforced pre-crime. According to a AHA Foundation report on violence against women, cases like this show gaps in protection for non-celebrities. No charges for online harassment, no trial to air it out. This detail from the police closure, where no further probes happened, makes you see how the system wraps things up quick when there's no one left to charge, leaving families like Janae's with the weight of what could have been prevented. To expand on what happened, the police issued public statements to counter misinformation, ruling out robbery or disease motives. According to KTRK-TV, they emphasized the stalking angle, but no new laws came from it. The process included notifying next of kin for Oporto, but no details on his family reactions were released. What didn't happen was a full inquest. Texas law doesn't require one for suicide, so no jury reviewed the evidence. Family could have pushed for a civil suit, but didn't per public records. The legal process ended with the case file closed, but the questions lingered. Now let's talk about what came after. The family left, picking up the pieces, the way the world reacted, and the lessons we all can take from it.
Tonight, dozens of friends and family members of 33-year-old Houston area influencer Janae Gagnier gathered at Terry Hershey Park to say goodbye. Police say the woman was murdered late last month by a man who somehow got into her apartment and strangled her. Our Matt Doherty was at the vigil with the story.
This shocking murder is still very much a mystery to so many of the people who showed up to the vigil tonight. The social media influencer known online as Miss Mercedes Morr had millions of followers. They included celebrities such as Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, and Drake. In fact, Drake dedicated his new album to the model today. TMZ reports Cardi B has been invited to Gagnier's celebration of life service tomorrow. At tonight's vigil, we heard from her parents.
She just was so happy and so funny and just so loving, and she just loved to
It
joke
would be all
around.
about her.
Yeah, as it is.
We wouldn't be up here. It would be all about you.
As it should be. That's about her. And again, we're going to remember that amazing spirit, that funny laugh, that 4'11" body, but that 8-foot tall, experience that we all got. So I appreciate her and love her, and we'll miss her forever and ever. Ever and ever.
Now let's talk about raising awareness, because this isn't just Janae's story. It's a reminder for all of us. If you're staying at home thinking that's the safe spot, live in a good manner that keeps you protected. According to safety tips from the National Stalking Awareness Month resources, updated 2025, lock your doors, use P.O. boxes for gifts, and blur backgrounds in posts. Such crimes happen every day. Explain it like this. Don't share real-time locations. Have a trusted person check in daily, and if something feels off, report it. Go a little further. Install cameras, change routines, and talk to family about online risks. Understand that obsession can start with a like and end at your door. So be vigilant. This extra bit is to make sure you get it well. Home isn't always a shield if the world knows your address. This fact from the family's push for awareness shows how one tragedy can spark change if we listen. In the end, if this case hit you, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Your action helps spread awareness about stalking, domestic dangers, and protecting our sisters. Let's make sure no more stories end like this. Stay safe out there.